Hi everyone, this is Michelle with YogiProof.com. Today we're going to practice some poses that will help us get ready for our handstand. So before we even kick our feet up into the air, we'll build some strength, gain some body awareness and alignment, and we're going to have a super fun time. So whenever you're ready, meet me on your mat. So all we will need today is our yoga mats, a yoga block at home if you have one, or maybe even grab a book, and we're going to use a wall space as well. So coming right into our core work, the first pose that we're going to work is Navasana or boat pose, one of my favorite poses here. Really helps you keep that core awareness and find that stability in the entire core and midsection. So coming on to your sits bones, finding the sits bones by moving the goodies out of the way. Heels are down, toes are up. Maybe you plant the palms behind your hips. Important thing here is to not be rounded in the spine. So lift that chest up toward the sky. Already think navel towards spine. So find that low belly engagement. If you'd like to start with keeping the palms planted here, exhale, come up. Inhale, come back. Important again to keep that chest lifted, that back and that spine nice and long and strong. Feel that deep core engagement here. Taking it up a notch, you can send those hands forward. Keep that same shape in the back and lifting with the chest. Breath is flowing. Exhale, contract. Inhale, lower. If you want to take it up another notch, we find those sits bones again. Balancing here, lifting the heels up off of the earth. Inhale, we find our low boat, keeping the legs lifted and the shoulders lifted. Exhale, high. Continuing to move here. Or you can take it back to any variation that we worked. Palms forward, heels grounded. Again, the chest is lifted, that low belly engagement, navel to spine, or you can have the palms back here for balance. So Navasana is fantastic to work into your practice. We can move on to the next core pose, which will be our forearm plank. I love planks, especially for finding the awareness in your body for handstands, because not only does it work your core, but it keeps the entire body working and engaged. So those inner thighs squeezing together, your feet are super active, and your shoulders are super active as well. So to find your forearm plank, the best way to maybe measure is to plant the palms on the elbows here. Find your yoga mat, open up the palms. If this is uncomfortable in the shoulders, you can always come back to clasped hands. Send the feet back, shoulders are stacked over your elbows. And again, low belly engagement, that core is super tight. So we're not dumping here. We find that low belly. We're also pressing into the earth with these forearms to keep our shoulders from dumping. So we find that protraction action with the shoulders. Pressing those heels back. Hamstrings are super engaged. Inner thighs are engaged. Find your breath. If you wanted to drop the knees and maybe take a child's pose, inhale. And exhale. Coming right back into it. So a great way to work this posture is to come in and out of it like we just did, or maybe you even count to 10, 15, or 20, but continuing to breathe the entire time. Continuing to press the forearms into the mat. Find that low belly engagement. Keep the shoulders protracting and keep the heels and the feet super active. Nice. Release the knees. Come back. Next pose up is our plank pose, which is your high plank. This is another great way to feel the entire body engagement, to find the hamstrings, the inner thighs. We're just going to take it up another level, coming onto our hands. So from downward facing dog, send the hips up high. Fingertips are super wide. Inhale, come forward, rolling the shoulders over the wrists. Again, the heels are pressing back. Your hamstrings are engaged and you're finding that low belly engagement, finding the core. Again, keep the breath flowing. When you start to feel fatigue, just exhale, send the hips back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, come back. So you can continue to work that with the breath. Maybe inhale, come forward, exhale, come back to your down dog. Or just like in our forearm plank, you can maybe hold that posture for a couple breaths. So another great variation in our plank pose is our Vashisthasana or our side plank. So coming right back into that high plank, core is engaged, and then begin to pivot onto the blade of the left foot. Right foot can stay directly in front of the left to help you with balance. Find those obliques. Maybe you send that right hand up high toward the sky. So again, hips keep lifting, finding that side body. If you feel nice and strong here, maybe you stack that right foot on top of the left. Keep those feet active. Don't dump into your ankles. Lift the hips higher. If you wanted to play with that top leg, you can find a tree pose or maybe even extend it up. And then we'll go right into the other side, coming onto the blade of the right foot. You can keep that left foot right in front of the right. Send those hips high. Stack that left shoulder on top of the right shoulder. Once you feel stable here, maybe you stack. Left foot on top of right. Hips stay high. And again, feel free to play. Meet us back. High plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. So our core is super important in our handstands. When we're upside down, we have to find that stability. We have to find that engagement to protect us. The biggest thing we're trying to avoid injury in is that low back. So you notice here, if I'm just hanging out and I have zero core engagement, my belly is out and I have that curve on my low back. Imagine taking this shape upside down and doing it over and over again. That will probably lead to injury. So we want to find that protection by using the core. Think navel to spine like we have been, that low belly engagement. Right away, you can tell that I'm out of my low back. I'm up tall, super stable here with that low belly engagement, even with that side body that we just worked in our side plank. Staying out of the low back, then we can go upside down and be totally protected here. So moving on to shoulders. Our shoulders obviously need to build strength to find us upside down. One of the great poses to work shoulders is Chaturanga. If you have your block, go ahead and take your block, place it right in the middle of your mat on its highest level. This will just be kind of a guide for what we're going to work with. So our Chaturanga push-ups is what we're going to practice today. Today we're just going to work with the knees dropped. So coming into your high plank, this block will be right underneath your sternum basically. Again, just here for a guide. High plank, drop the knees. Already you can tell that my core is still super tight. I didn't let go of it. My core is tight and those shoulders are protracting. So I'm pressing into the ground and my shoulder blades are expanding across the back body. So not dumping, not dumping. Super strong. Elbows come straight back. Biceps stay hugged into the side body. Once I reach that block, I know that I'm basically at that 90-degree angle that we want, and I press back up. Again, elbows come straight back. Biceps stay hugged in. Press back up. So you can continue to work that if you like. One thing that I do want to mention is that shape in the arms. So we have that alignment of your wrist being underneath your elbows and your shoulders not dumping down toward the mat. Your shoulders are super strong, your chest is open, and you're finding that strength here. I would much rather find a modification in your Chaturanga by dropping the knees, or even once you feel that you're starting to lose your core, maybe about here, press back up. So besides coming down and then losing everything and even finding injury, we press back up until we build up that strength. Another way to use your block to find some shoulder alignment in your handstand is to come to standing. Big toes touching, heels are slightly spread apart. Take that block, grabbing the sides, release it down towards the earth. Take a nice inhale, exhale. So notice that we're just standing, we're just hanging out. Then start to press those palms into the block and press down. So you might have saw my shoulders move here. So I come from here, my shoulder may be up and back. I press into the block with the palms and I press down. And you see that protraction happen in my shoulders. My shoulder blades expand across the back. Keep that action, pressing in with the palms, pressing down. Now focus on your feet, super engaged. Squeeze those inner thighs together, find that core we've just been working on, and continue with the shoulders. Pressing down with the palms, pressing in. Then maybe we slowly start to take it up. Hands come about shoulder height. Tap back into that awareness. Core is aware. Core is super engaged. Inner thighs are engaged. Feet are flexed or engaged. Then maybe keep those shoulders protracting as you come all the way up into your handstand shape. Again, notice you didn't dump. Core is engaged. Shoulders are super active. So this is actually a little bit harder than it looks. So staying super active here, slowly come back down. Again, maybe you pause right here at shoulder height. Find that shoulder awareness again. Maybe you come back all the way down. One more time, slowly coming back up. Full body engagement, pressing into the block, feeling the shoulders across the back. Slowly come back down. Keep breathing. Nice job. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight to keeping the entire body engaged while you're still working that shoulders coming up into your handstand. So the last pose that we'll work on today for shoulders is our Dolphin Pose. I really love this pose to not only build strength in our shoulders, but to help open up our shoulders as well. So if you're trying to find your handstand and you don't have that mobility, that flexibility yet in your shoulders, to have your hands and your wrists come over your shoulders, then right away you're coming into a really weird, wonky handstand. So finding our Dolphin Pose, same setup for our forearm plank. You can grab hands and elbows, place the elbows down. Palms can be flat on the earth or hands can be clasped. Send the feet back. Hips come high. So already here we shift the weight forward, so the shoulders come over the elbows, and then we relax the head, so our gaze comes back towards the toes. Then start to really press into the forearms. So your head should be off of the ground. If your head is not lifted quite yet, then just go ahead and stay here and work this strength. So keep pressing the forearms into the earth until you can find that head completely clear of the ground. Then walk the toes forward. This adds a little bit more intensity to the pose. So make sure you keep breathing, you keep pressing those forearms into the earth, and you're finding that protraction again with the shoulders here. Take that nice inhale, take that nice exhale. Maybe walk the toes back, drop the knees. You can send the hands back, find that embryo child's pose variation. And we'll meet right back into it. So combining two of our poses today will come from that Dolphin Pose again. So walking the toes forward, shifting the shoulders over the elbows, find that low belly engagement, press those forearms into the ground. Take a slight step back with the feet and we'll come into that forearm plank. Take one breath. Send the hips back, Dolphin Pose. Maybe you take another breath. Come right back down into forearm plank. These are your Dolphin Push-Ups. These activate not only the shoulders, the core, but the entire body. So notice this awareness. Notice this engagement, not only in the legs, the core, the shoulders. Take that right when you get upside down. Go ahead and drop the knees. Maybe you give yourself another breath in child's pose. And come back up to seated. So if you're ready to start getting upside down, to start your handstand practice, your handstand journey, a great way to begin to feel what it's like upside down is to use a wall. So we'll go ahead and meet you there. So now that you are ready to start your handstand practice, we'll come up to our wall. So make sure you've kind of cleared some space around the area at the wall you're going to use. So planting your palms about 10 or 12 inches away from the wall and come into your downward facing dog. Take one step forward, lift up that flying leg. Nice and engaged. Send the shoulders over your wrists so you find that stacked alignment here. And from here, bend into that right knee and kick. Maybe you come up onto the wall. So once you're upside down from here, keeping those feet super flexed, work those shoulders. So again, pressing into the earth. Work that core. So again, we're not dumping into our low back. Find that low belly engagement and those toes are super active. Keep breathing. Feel free to stay here for maybe 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. Keep working your way up. Remember, you can always kick up, find that handstand, find that full body engagement. Come back down, take a few breaths, maybe kick back up. This is a great way to not only find that awareness upside down, but still building strength in your shoulders, finding that core awareness and just getting used to being upside down. Another great way to use the wall is to come into it from this angle. We're gonna come into an L shape. So it's gonna be about a 90-degree angle with your hips. This is fantastic to feel what it's like to have the wrist, shoulders, and hips stacked on top of each other. So a great way to measure this pose is to bring that staff pose here. So your Dandasana shape. Your feet are flat against the wall, your heels are on the wall. You can plant your palms right at your hips and then flip right over. So we'll come into that downward facing dog shape. So your heels are onto the wall. Then you take one foot, step onto the wall, maybe another. Maybe you're here. Eventually making your way to, again, about that 90-degree angle in the hips. And as you can see, what that does is stacks my shoulders over my wrists, my hips over my shoulders. I can drop my head. This, again, is a great place to build strength. If you want to keep playing, you can lift up one leg, feel what it's like. Press those shoulders, find that core. Legs are super engaged. Maybe you come up onto that toe until you feel that balance and play with coming up onto the wall. And then when you're ready, just walk the feet back down. Slowly make your way back up. So a wall is a fantastic place to start. So next we're going to start to work with getting away from the wall and bringing your handstand into the middle of the room. So a couple of ways to practice your handstand in the middle of the room. First way is your 3 handstand hops. So coming into your downward facing dog, fingertips are spread super wide. Take one step forward. And then from here, think of your alignment. So your shoulders come over your wrist. Lift up that left leg. Find lots of engagement. So all those planks and everything that we've been working for that full body engagement, think of your legs here as well. Core is engaged. You're pressing into the earth. You're keeping those shoulders super strong. Bend into that right knee. One little hop. Controlled hops. So keeping the awareness in the core, keeping the awareness in the shoulders, keeping that flying leg super engaged. So once you feel good here with your hops, and maybe you even start to find some hang time, we can work towards what position, what variation in your handstand is best to find that hang time. I recommend the knee to chest variation. So keeping one knee in toward the belly and extending the other leg towards the sky. So same setup here. From your downward dog, take your step in, shoulders over wrist. Flying leg is super engaged. That core is engaged. Hop up, knee to chest. Maybe you find some hang time. Here. Keep squeezing the knee into the chest. Keep pressing into the earth. And keep that flying leg super engaged. Really reach those toes up toward the sky. So if you're feeling good in that knee to chest variation and you're ready to take it into that full straight-legged handstand, same setup. Come from our downward facing dog. Extend that flying leg. Super engaged. Shoulders are over the wrist. Bend into that right knee. Knee to chest. Squeeze everything into the midline. Send that right leg up. Come back down whenever you're ready. So this is a fantastic journey. Your handstand is so much fun. It's your chance to be playful on the mat. It's your chance to really explore your own body, explore your own practice. So remember, you can always come back to this video at any time, incorporate these poses into your practice, building more strength, building more body awareness, and helping you find that strong handstand. So again, my name is Michelle with YogiApproved.com. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get all the latest videos. Have so much fun getting upside down. Be playful in your practice. Namaste.